first music you remember hearing when you were a kid? Is there one thing that turned you on and said, wow, this is what I want to do?
When that happened, when it turned, I mean, I was already playing and singing in church music and all kinds of things. When it happened that, is this what I want to do, was Led Zeppelin's Jamaica. When I heard that, I was making fun of it all day long, because I was always writing down the lyrics to all the joke songs that were out, Spiders and Snakes and stuff, and passing out to all the kids. But I heard that song and I was going, yeah, there's another one, and I was making fun of it. But by afternoon recess, I was in the corner with the radio waiting to hear that song. That, and Benny and the Jets, just made me go, I want this.
It's funny, I wouldn't normally picture you as an Elton John, like, launching your consciousness of music.
Elton John is it. If like, you know, especially the first 7 albums, Bernie Taupin to me is the best lyric writer that's ever lived on the face of the earth, and Elton John was just amazing in the studio, and the recording of everything, and some of it's so art. I mean, to me, that's my classical music, because some of his stuff is classical. Yeah, right. You know, I listen to Elton John all the time.
Yeah, dudgeon arrangements and everything.
I'm always supposed to meet them. I think they're the only 2 people I'm, like, nervous to meet. You know, it's like something always comes up, I don't feel well, and I just can't meet them.
Yeah. What were you doing when was the first thing you did in music? Was it church stuff? I mean, you'd just be going to church and singing. Were you singing in a choir or something? Or?
Church stuff, singing since I was a little kid. Like, my brother and sister and I would have to sing in a trio, which was then the Bailey Trio. And we would sing in front of the church, which started like in the little back room of a library and then built up to where it was a big brick country church.
So this is like Nearer My God, do they stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, all the Amazing Grace and everything. Actually, Sebastian Bach and I are talking about doing the version of Amazing Grace together.
Really?
I think it's a whole new idea that him and I are going to do this together, because everybody wanted us to be enemies, kind of a bit in the, you know, press things, or who's better, or this and that, and it's kind of like, we just hit it off, you know?
Have you patched up your differences with Vince Neil and the boys? He had a scuffle last year backstage at the...
Oh, no way.
No? Oh, okay.
No way. Haven't patched up anything.
The Video Music Awards were not a picnic for all concerned, however, including Guns N' Roses guitarist Izzy Stradlin, who was punched in the face by Motley Crue vocalist Vince Neil, as Stradlin walked off stage with his manager Alan Nivens. This was apparently Neil's reaction to a 1988 incident at an LA rock club in which Stradlin allegedly assaulted Neil's wife, Charisse, then had her ejected from a room at the club.
What's the dispute there?
Well, I mean, they think... I've read in the interviews of theirs that they feel that it's like I'm just, you know, standing up for Izzy and stuff, but Vince should be careful what golf courses he's mouthing off about Axl on and who he's playing golf with. You know, when he goes out playing golf, mouths off about Axl, and he happens to be playing golf with people that work for me, stories come back. You know, and, you know, he likes to put in magazines that he broke Izzy's nose, or, you know, and how Alan Niven wasn't even there, my manager, or anything like that, and no one was around. I don't know. We didn't want to take it to court because it would be too much trouble and too much hassle, but when, you know, Tom Petty's security crew wants to be witnesses in court, you know, it's funny because Izzy's like going, because people think it's going to happen sooner or later or whatever, and it's like that Vince and I'll get into it or something, you know, and Izzy laughs because he's like, that guy, you know, had a full-on free shot, you know, and hit like a powder puff, you know, and he was like, so it's like, it's pretty scary if the guy thinks about a real hassle. You know, I put in a magazine, you know, anytime he wants it, anywhere, Atlantic City, I don't care. We'll put money on it, you know. I don't care, you know, and then he tried to turn it around and say the same thing, but, you know, the invitation's there. I'm easy to find. If you really want to hassle, you know, we can have it out.
I always thought everybody on the LA scene was so tight and friendly and everything, you know, it's just...
Oh, no, it gets real competitive. We tried to help a lot of bands when we knew we were taking off. Yeah. And even some of the bands that we were helping, I don't want to name names or anything, ended up getting very jealous because they were having to, like, kind of, like, exist in our shadow a bit. And that was really hard because we were, like, we could have given the gigs to somebody else. Yeah. You know, we could have helped someone else out.
Jeez. Did you still feel a part of the scene? I mean, you still go out, right? Can you still go to clubs and stuff?
A little bit, yeah. I can go out more now. People don't... It's not as crazy as it was. Yeah. It's the ball's starting to get rolling again, and it's starting to get crazy again. But I can go out a little bit. About a year ago, it was a mess. Now it's mellowing out, and I think people are a little bit, I don't know if it's intimidated or what, they're just, now they kind of look at me like, oh my God, no, that can't be him. Even if they're talking to me, they don't think that they would see me, which is kind of cool.
Because you don't see each other as much as you did when you were like living in one
Yeah,
place,
everybody
right?
has their own lives. I mean, Izzy basically has 5 Harleys, and every time you're looking for Izzy, you find out he's in Mexico, or he's in London, or he drove to Texas, or he's up in Yellowstone or something, you know? He's always somewhere.
What about the rest of the guys? Are they pretty scattered too? I mean, Slash stay home and play all the time? And
he's always working on something, working on his house, or working on someone else's record, or something like that. So we don't really hang that much, but we call each other up on the phone to tell each other what we did, you know? We're best friends, even though we have separate lives, somewhat, you know? And we brought that friendship back together, you know? Because otherwise it was getting to a point where, okay, then we are going to go separate.
Can you imagine yourself ever going off and doing like a solo album? Can you imagine finding a band that would be for you what Guns N' Roses is?
No, I can imagine finding people that play really good that I want to do songs with, and see about possibly putting a solo project together at some point, but not getting the same effect. Yeah. But I can't really see trying to duplicate what Guns N' Roses is, because Guns N' Roses is so much more than we ever thought it really would be. It's actually, it's like a dream band having like the hummingbird. It's gone. It's like welcome to